Hey guys, welcome on back to an impromptu video for AnKorage Extras, and we need to do this year's Workstation update, so why don't we get right into it. Way up at the top shelf, you can barely see anything up here, but there's only three things up there. I've got two headsets. One is a gaming headset, one is just a regular Bluetooth kind of headset, and my flight stick by Thrustmaster. This shelf here, I've just got my my clock that I did in the Time Quest video. If I remember, I'll stick it up here or down in the description. And then I have a notebook up here for decoration. It's green channel color. There we go. And also for the home. And it's got the Battlestar Colonial Phoenix on the cover. So there we go. And down on this shelf, we've got my quartz crystal here. I bought back in 2013. I bought that in Vermont. Let's see, I've got a couple of oxhorn cups. This one I purchased from a person in the UK. So I've got this and I've got another one that's in the bar, but it's just out of the way. Actually, no, this is that one. Never mind. And then I've got another one here. It's a little smaller, but it's nice. This one's good for use and stuff like that. It's reserved for use by Automatic and Freya, the call sign Freya. That's my former co-worker that's now working in the office here in the condo complex. She can use this too, or whoever else may want to use a little something for a little drinky. So here's that. My cup is this one. This is the one that you see me drink out of at the end of every video. And you can also see me drinking from it during the supporter streams. So there we go. Let's see. This is a Thor's hammer that I got from a relative. It's actually a fidget spinner. They just happened to see it and thought of me for some reason. So, I mean, I'm not big on the Disney stuff because they kind of ruined it to a degree. They made it a cash cow essentially. So, but there we go. But it's from a relative, so I keep it up on display. And then over on the far right, I've got this. This is for casting runes, Old Norse, Viking era, you know, some back then. And I've got actual runes to go with it. They're in this velour little baggie right here. These are nice. These are actually made out of deer antler. So if I hold this guy up, you can kind of see. It's going to be out of focus, but you can kind of see that's the back side, there's the front. The actual rune is burnt into the top. And there is a rune where both sides are blank, and that actually does have a meaning. So, and these are deer antler. These are just slivers of it, of the deer antler, and it's really good, you know. And, you know, perfect for use with this for casting the runes. So you cast the runes and blah, 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 like that, and then you can read them. And I don't know what each individual one means by memory or anything like that, so I use a little help doc on the computer. There's a website that identifies every single one of these and describes them. So that's what I go by. Oh, granted, I haven't done that since I bought the runes, and that was over 2 years ago at this point. However, I've got those. It's really nice keeping the velour baggie, and it stays right up here. If it'll stay you. Yeah, all right. I'll fix the alignment of that, so because there is an up portion. So, and then down here on this bottom shelf, going from left to right, I've got my Phyto multivitamins because I need to be big and strong. Ha! Yeah. Not really, but you know what I mean. It's a supplement. Alright, and then I've got a couple of portable hard drives here that are typically used with, you know, laptops. You know, you have a laptop, you need an external hard drive, you got one, you plug it in as you go. However, here, I'm in a condo complex, and this is just one of the units. If there's a fire in the building or we need to evacuate, where everybody needs to evacuate and get out immediately, I can just come around, grab those, unplug them, throw them in my pocket, and I'm gone. And I've got all my data. They're kept on those. Let's see, I've got my router here. I've had this for 10 years. It's originally a Linksys WRT 1900 AC, and I've since, a number of years ago, I took the Linksys firmware off and I put on DDWRT firmware, and I update it every month. So, awesome. And I also steampunkified it by spray painting the front cover and also the antenna, or antennae. There we go. And I also have this little fan right here. You know, I had it extra, and it just kind of helps out with, you know, keeping it cool. You know, any ambient air coming off of it, being blown off of it, can go down through the grates down and help cool the chips. It has a little fan built into it for the sake of temperature control and stuff like that. But I've never heard it turn on, which means it's probably never gotten hot enough to do that. But so being a little proactive and just helping out just that little much more. Yeah, I got my little light here. You know, I keep that handy. I've got a small USB stick here. This has gotten some use in the past few days because I've been helping out the office of the complex with some desktop support and stuff like that. Help getting a new machine up and running. Granted, it's Windows, but you know, still. I think I've gotten enough of a good impression going on with the upper management over there to say, hey, you guys need the Linux desktop. Anyhow, got my little earpiece for my phone. It's Bluetooth. Got a few micro SD cards here that are reserved for use with the 4 Raspberry Pis. I've got, you know, 3 of them are only running. But I've got CoWoS, Aurora, Uppsala, and Geffen. So, CoWoS is currently not being used. It's spare. I just need a project for it. Any suggestions? Down below. I've got 2 simple file servers on Aurora and Uppsala. That's what these 2 drives are down here for. That's where all the data is kept. And then I've got CoWoS, which is, Geffen. Which is used for Pi-hole, which is this thing right down here. So why don't I shuffle things around a little bit, get repositioned, and we'll talk about everything below the shelf. So let's do that. Okay, so we're down a little bit. Got a little bit of a glare on that monitor, although it is kind of bright, so that's just because of the theming of Pi-hole, but talk about it. I've got a 2-screen system. So basically I have 2 monitors up here. So what you're seeing is you got on the left monitor, I've got B-top running on Solaria, Aurora, and Uppsala. And then over here I got B-top running on Geffen and the Pi-hole dashboard. And that's just for the sake of the video. So I've got other stuff on there. Running behind it and everything like that, and I've got my my Firefox set up for tonight, all set to go, because tonight we've got the supporter stream because it's Tuesday, and it's a special night because it can't be done on Thursday, so doing it now, or tonight I should say. So there's that, and so I've got a sound bar here that I can use. Behind it I've got a USB hub, a 3.0 USB hub that I use for, you know, general, you know, throwing USB sticks and stuff like that. But I've got my my hardware key, my FIDO hardware key in the very far front, and it never leaves. And then of course I've got the power for the sound bar there. Excuse me. And there we go. So this sound bar, it replaces the one that I had, which was running really well, and then it just stopped one day. And so I got this one here, and I ended up getting it for free at the end of it all. because I did a review and saying what I didn't like about it, and the company was good enough to say, hey, okay, well, yeah, the functions and features that you're looking for are on this later, more involved design, and not necessarily that one. And my only complaint was regarding the light down at the bottom. It's not on right now because, sure, I'd love to have it on if I could have it on a single color and solid, static all the time. This is not capable of that. So when you turn the light on, it goes through unicorn vomit all the time, and no choice outside of shutting it off. So I shut off that light, and it works just fine. And the company said, thank you very much for your review and everything like that, and here, have all your money back. And I got a full refund for it, meaning this ended up being free. Good on them, I guess. I don't know. I was more than willing to pay for what it was, but they felt that because of the points that I had, that it was worth refunding me for it. So I appreciate it very, very much. And then I've got a little gaming mat here. I mean, if you can call it a gaming mat. I use it kind of like as a mouse pad, but it's someplace to hold my keyboard, and it's got a little RGB light, and I've got it on a solid green. And I got my keyboard that came with my Windows box, and I've got it on solid green on the RGB, so I like that. And as far as the other stuff on the desk goes, I mean, that's just stuff on the desk right now. It's just, I could put that away. I got a few cords and my glasses and stuff like that, plus this. There we go. Down below, we got the usual stuff with the desk. We got a keyboard tray here. I've got my spare keyboard tray, stuff like that. Some other little trash keys and stuff like that. But down bottom are my two main machines at the workstation. The left one is Solaria. That's the name I gave it, named after the Battlestar from Battlestar Galactica. This is a dual operating system machine. It's got Windows 11 on it, on one drive, and it's got Linux on another drive. Now the Linux drive is an NVMe stick, and there's a port for it right on the motherboard. So I'm like, okay, motherboard, NVMe, you get Linux. The Windows drive that originally came with it when I purchased it a few years back, it came with an SSD, which is actually, I've got it right here. It's this guy. This originally had Windows on it, and what I did was I bought a higher capacity SSD and just cloned it over to it, and then erased this thing. And my hopes are to give this to the condo office, because the machine I just helped set up, stuff like that, it's got a spot in it for one of these. So since I'm not using it, might as well give it to them. And so I hope to, if Freya gets approval or authorization, then she'll let me know, and I'll go in and I'll plug this into that machine, and they can keep all their data off of the OS drive. I'm totally for keeping data off of the actual OS drive, and just keep the OS drive for your needed applications and stuff like that. To the right of Solaria is the machine that I've named Odin. And that is a little bit of a creative freedom from the Battlestar universe to name it after a Mercury class Battlestar by the name of Odin. There was never one in the show. However, so I took that and I'm being like, okay, if it's Mercury class, well, it's one of the newer ones. Why not have it called Odin? Because they use names like that in the show. They've got a Battlestar named Valkyrie, and they call it the Valkyrie type because they don't actually have a name of a class. And I've got a Valkyrie type model over there on the shelves that you can see it when I'm taking videos here, because I've got a camera right on top of that monitor, and that's the one that takes the video of me, and you can see it in the background over there. So and it's a Valkyrie type Battlestar, and those were known as the workhorses in the colonial military fleet. So, and this is kind of a workhorse in today's society, in today's world, and stuff like that. So it's kind of fitting, and the design is actually kind of nice. It's smaller than the Galactica, probably about half the size, and nimble little guys. Yeah, really good. But that Odin machine, that is a Windows 10 machine, and I use that for editing these videos, and I also play my game on it, which happens to be World of Warcraft. So yeah, I do throw Blizzard $15 a month. But you know, I'm hoping to end that at some point. Although Automatic is really dying to get back onto it because she used to play it a lot and she'd like to play with me, and I'm like, yeah, I'll play with you, no problem. I've got the machine that she wants to use it for over here. It's a dual Xeon processor. It's got a low-ended video card on it, so it does need a new video card, something a little more up to date. Or just a flat-out new machine, but I'm going to try to make it work to some degree so I can play with her and so that she could play. So, but I've got that machine here, so it's got its purposes, and Solaria's got her purposes and stuff like that. And you know, behind monitor number 2, I've got, you know, this is that fan that I did on I think it was called Fan Quest. Yeah, you know, it's a duster. It's a, you know, you blow dust away. I've got brush attachments and stuff like that. It's a nice little thing. I don't have any place in particular to keep it, so I've got space back here behind the monitor, so I'll just keep it back there. So on the monitors, we've got B-Top running on Solaria, Aurora, and Uppsala. And then on monitor 2, I've got Geffian, and I've got my Pi-hole dashboard up. Now these two, monitor 2 is like this, up and doing what it's doing all the time. The left screen, I've only got B-Top up on those right now just for the sake of the video. So there we go. So that is this year's Workstation update. Essentially, it is July. So that's going to do it. So come on back in the future and we'll talk to you later. So thank you very much. Skál. Drink to victory.